Yeah, as you can tell, the wonderfully weird world of Gumball is a wild ride, and we'll be going through my first impressions of it, and yes, I will explain that clip in just a second. Spoiler alert. First and foremost, in this first half of the season, we do not get any acknowledgement of the events after the Inquisition, as it starts like the teaser trailer we received earlier this year. In fact, Rob doesn't appear in any major way so far in the first half of the season, which really seals the deal that this should be treated like a spin-off, not a 7th season. So what does happen in this spin-off so far? Well, speaking of the Void, we get another major episode with a character that most people would consider boring, yet has quite the standout episode.
I'm glad I caught you. Oh no. I'm on hall monitor duty, so I'm monitoring the halls. That's what a hall monitor does.
This is The Boring, a Molly-centric episode where they play around with the fact that she's so boring, she brings time to a halt. Although we don't learn much about her character, one of the cool developments from this episode I do wish to speak about is that we do get new dynamics in this spinoff, and it comes from a character who I'm surprised the show didn't pair up sooner.
We're sorry for not listening.
Yeah, we ruined your beautiful artwork.
We've learned the error of our ways, thanks to Molly.
If you're with Molly, I guess I'll spare you. Dinosaur code and all.
It reminds me of some of the wacky pairings we did get in the OG show, like Jamie and Anais, or Richard and Larry. And I'm glad the show is still trying out new pairs that we haven't seen much of yet. But the spinoff does bring back a certain in-demand dynamic. So this is The Gourmet, an episode featuring a very detached Masami who enjoys gourmet meals, not having to worry about eating school lunch. The reason I focus on this episode isn't because of her though. Gumball would want to live a life like her, so Nicole basically tells him to and he takes up the offer. And that's when we see a familiar face. Yes, this is Yuki from The Fury, one of the more notable episodes of the OG show because of the art style shift that they do tease within this episode. We get more development such as seeing Masami's home, her butler, or spoiler alert again, former butler, and commentary on rich people. And while I do enjoy the commentary in this episode, I do want to speak about one aspect of the new spinoff that I'm not the craziest about.
You're clearly rich enough. Can't you stop this corporate greed?
Last year our profits triple-sized.
So did our risk of heart disease.
So this is The Burger, and I was worried where this show would go after the 6th season, primarily because of how it felt like the show might lean on super obvious political commentary to appear witty, and that's pretty much what they did in this episode. Quite a few episodes within the first half of this season have this very how do you fellow kids mindset with a large amount of self-awareness about that aspect. You get this within The Burger when it comes to corporate greed at the expense of the common person, or the assistant with its anti-AI rhetoric, the app with social media's corruption of society, and even the astrological kind of with its commentary on people's devotion to astrology. It feels like many of these episodes were made not necessarily for me to laugh with them, but to agree with them, and it led me to think about episodes I enjoyed from the OG show, like The Choices, again, The Fury, The Origins, The Dress, episodes that don't really have to do with critiquing societal or political stances so much as being self-contained, funny, or emotionally gripping stories with strong characters in their own world, not ours. But then we got to one of my favorite episodes within this spinoff so far.
I want to be like that, Mama. A flyer. It's my dream.
Ah, don't dream too big, baby. Success doesn't run in the Watterson family. Cholesterol, on the other hand.
So this is The Cheerleader, a Richard-centric episode, and I think a contender for one of the best Richard-centric episodes next to The Job, where we learn that Richard's confidence was shattered due to the family trauma caused by Granny JoJo. In fact, we get lots of Granny JoJo within this first season, surprisingly, and she doesn't really bring the mood down in a lot of these episodes so far. However, they delve deeper into that aspect of the generational trauma and show the chain of how it's passed down, which also doubles up as a now canon version of what the Watterson lineage most likely is. And while in many ways this is a callback to The Meddler, a season 1 episode where Gumball would try to beat Penny at cheerleading to impress her, I believe when it comes to the cheerleading aspect, this episode forges its own identity. Like, it sounds crazy to believe that I would care about Richard cheerleading, but that's not crazy.
Thank you for understanding.
So this is the letter, and yeah, this is crazy. So as you guys know, I've made a few episodes speaking about Darwin and Carrie's relationship, including a full timeline of how it evolves within the original show. And there are a few developments within this spinoff. So for one, Penny and Carrie casually hang out a bit more here, and that's nice to see, such as in the episode The Entrance. But this episode is a bit confusing in a few ways.
I miss you more. No, I missed you more. Oh, sorry, Carrie. I forgot you hate it when people show affection.
I don't hate it. That's because I'm technically dead inside. But that's why me and Darwin work so well, because he's not some mewling puddle of mush.
Yeah, he was, and yeah, he is. You would think if anyone knows this, it's Carrie, who learned how in many ways Darwin is not as hardcore as her, within the drama, for example. I think the premise of this episode is still quite fun, the aspect of Darwin giving Carrie a love letter and having to retrieve it after learning this information. And while I'll go deeper into this in a future video most likely, they seem to have solved their mortal, non-mortal touching issue, which I'm not gonna lie, someone needs to go to jail after that, but apparently for some reason the spinoff gets even crazier. So yeah, this is The Climb, and admittedly, if you think the letter is cursed, you have to understand the premise of this episode. Gumball was climbing up a rock wall and unfortunately had to pick between falling to his doom or letting his pants fall. And while these are very tough decisions for a tween to make, as you can tell, this led to some trauma that he isn't able to deal with yet. I do think this episode is incredibly wacky in many ways, and while one may compare this to The Kiss, for example, an episode where Gumball is traumatized and had to get over that fear to function correctly in society, that episode dealt with it by having Gumball go through even grosser stuff. This episode found a different way to deal with it.
He's going to drop his past. Oh, I think he may have taken that metaphor a bit too literally.
You know, someone had to have thought of that idea, then pitch it, then have it accepted, then storyboard it, animate it, then someone at Cartoon Network or Warner Bros. Or Hulu or whatever had to accept it, and then someone had to have uploaded it for my eyes to see this. And I want all of those people also underneath the jail. But speaking of jail, we get a blast from the past. If you remember The Spoon, another season 1 episode, it featured the criminal thumb guy, or Sal Left Thumb as he's formerly known. Well, he comes back in another top tier episode with Miss Simeon in the episode The Teacher, a very fun and action-packed episode that doesn't batter you over the head with its social commentary, unlike some other episodes within the first half of this season.
What is that?
Budget cuts! We also can't afford the full alphabet anymore, so try and avoid the letters G and T.
Yeah, it is about how teachers are underpaid and usually have to dip into their own funds to get past the bare minimum, but it's a classic misunderstanding plot where Gumball thinks Miss Simeon is stealing from the school to aid her own agenda. It's a fun trio that definitely deserves more props, such as this next trio. So this episode is The Pool, which has Richard, Gumball, and Darwin deal with a hot summer day by trying to get into Mr. Robinson's pool. Now there's two things about this episode that I found quite odd. For one, they have Mrs. Robinson play a delayed fake out of being nice, and it's odd that they believe her in the first place.
Margaret, look at how hot it is out here. What about the children?
Well, you don't need to translate that.
They really thought they could sweet talk her like she's the better half?
She's the literal embodiment of evil. She doesn't care about children. We learned about this in the OG show where she left Darwin to choke to death. Now, some people might defend this by saying it's a spin-off, so we shouldn't expect everything to be transferred over here because some things already are. It's just a little confusing to know what is starting fresh and what should be remembered from the OG show. Secondly, Mr. Robinson would be sympathetic towards Richard being a father.
The real reason I wouldn't let you in the pool is that the person I built it for never got to swim in it. All my life I worked hard, but I knew why I was doing it.
Like, it's so odd that he's reaching into his emotional bag to talk to Richard about his son Rocky, because I've seen him not care about Richard at all. Both of them seem oddly nicer than they should be, and I'm not the biggest fan of it, but if you want mean, we should check out the episodes featuring Anais.
2 years ago, I bought these tickets for Anais's birthday, and I still haven't managed to take her!
Why are you saying this like it's our fault?
Because this is why we never went! I'm sorry, honey, we'll have to go another time.
So this first one is The Traffic, an episode where Anais finally gets to go to Daisyland, a theme park centered around Daisy the donkey, an in-world icon for children everywhere. She's always been quite aggressively opinionated when it came to Daisy the donkey, whether it was emotionally holding her mother hostage to see Daisy on ice, or tricking her whole family so that she can watch her show, or not befriending Billy specifically because he watches a completely different show. Here she takes a less active role, with Nicole aggressively trying her best to give Anais the perfect day at Daisyland, but as the title and clip suggest, most of this episode deals with them on their way to Daisyland. In fact, we get to see a very vulnerable side of Anais.
I cannot let you go to Daisyland.
It's okay, I get it. The boys need more attention. It's not your fault either, Mom. It's just the way our family is. I'll be fine.
This show has played around with Anais's contribution to the main family, such as within the Copycats, and while there it was treated both as a joke and kind of the main part of the plot, here it's treated a little bit more serious, and I love the range that it gives her. I wasn't as interested in the other Anais episodes like The Gut or The Wrinkle, the former being a smart person finally gets a smart friend episode like The Egg, and the latter being pretty much a Nicole episode written for Anais, strangely, but they are solid episodes nonetheless. Now, to cap off this first impressions, we must speak about the 20th episode in this season, the last one that they give us in this season drop.
I swear, every time I come here, I get dragged into more family drama than a telenovela.
Why did you have to bring your Amadean boyfriend, Penelope?
Because he's the only one who supported me when I gave up wearing a shell, Patrick. And he's gonna help me stand up to this backward family. Isn't that right, Gumball?
This is the Amadean, and while I have a lot I think about it, we get to experience more of Penny's family. Now, it's been a running theme post the shell in the OG show that Penny and her father are at odds about her transformation, with episodes such as The Apprentice and The Transformation, episodes where Gumball balances his respect for Patrick and his love for Penny. Throughout the first half of this season, we get lots of development with them, but it never feels like they want to stick to any decision. We have the love-struck and clingy couple within The Traffic, the secure but also tested versions within the astrological, and now within the Amadean. It feels like Gumball was put back in the tension that was created within the transformation, but without him being able to bail at the end.
What a nightmare. Come to my house. We'll do karaoke. JK, it's actually a trap to use you to drive my art house horror family even crazier. They're very traditional. They don't use mechanical toilets. They only poop in stone buckets and wipe with the sacred leaves of the tree of the...
We do get to see Penny's extended family and learn more about her culture, her family practices. It was quite the uncomfortable episode for Gumball throughout it, having to do an impossible task of trying to keep two people at odds happy, but there is a twist at the end that I don't wish to spoil just yet. So as you sit patiently and wait for these new videos to come out of me talking about all of these new episodes, unless it's already out, please check out this video here in the meantime while I cook it up.